All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna do the review of these watches. All these watches that you see right there, these are all Japanese, Chinese, Japanese made watches. Except this year, these are Chinese and Chinese. I think the belts are, this is actually made in India watches. Something I already have done partially, right? Right here, when I open this delivery here, this is let me see that. See that quickly. Okay, so that was part one, and so this should be then. This should be part one right here. Is it?
My mother have stated to me just about...
Oh, there you go. That's the watch right there. The first thing I'm going to do is, and what we're going to do is we're going to call this a part number one.
We have some hair here also.
I'm going to call this part number one. This is the watch right there that arrived through the mail. So I did the review of this watch. First of all, what I'm going to be doing. Hell, this is first of all.
According to him,
first of all, what I'm going to be doing in this video is this is a video we're going to title as a part number one. Part number one. This stuff applies to this post here. This is continuation. Die Neue Europa. We are all swines in European Union and USA, no longer people. That much in respect to the so-called free mainstream media, which grew literally into the AliExpress deliveries that look inside of my house just as you see, regardless of whether I pick them up at the local government Slovenian postal office or items arrive at home. This is not the way to go. Just to give you a little refreshment, the guy would just through the packaging and disappeared. Basically, he would just oh man, this shit is so disturbed. First of all, I don't even know where the hell I would start with this stuff. This watch has been involved since 2008. Look at these watches. 2008, and these watches already were involved in MK Ultra. You see them? Look at them good. In 2008, you're going to say, oh, these watches do not exist. Hell yes, they existed. You better believe it, they existed. That means, what you see this here, I already opened them up. That's right. And you're going to see me opening the package. Watches did exist. I am gonna turn the light on so that you can see what I'm talking about. These watches did exist in 2008. You better believe it, it did. The one who made these watches in 2008 for the Chinese was a Japanese company that existed and would produce similar to these watches. Some of which I remember Psychiatric's Kapsch. He had the watch that was big like this.
I thought for a moment.
He had like a watch, whatever the hell that was. It was as big as this, and this is the watch he was using to terrorize me. It was not one, it was like 2, 3 watches like this, and like this thick, and he would go and he would terrorize me that these watches are actually that kind of watch if I like them and so on. Enough about it. I told you about how I have also demonstrated how I have ordered another watch. This is why this guy stopped right there. This is why individual stopped right there. This is the watch right here, did you see? And this is the first watch I ordered. And the watch would not be delivered to me, just accordingly with the MK Ultra scenario. And when this watch is what delivered, in a little bit I'm going to get to that issue. And I have by coincidence, literally I sit inside of the living room area and boy, I see the car just vroom, and just vroom, like I could not, even when I ran toward the door so that I would step on a terrace on a balcony, I couldn't. And then I realized I don't even have a fucking camera with me, so I ran to get the Android to video record this shit. Luckily I did this, and I saw him. He raced here and stopped right there. And according to MK Ultra scenario, this was recorded anyhow on March the 25th, 2024, and today is March the 30th of 2024. Let's take time, date. Let's take time and date in this part number 1, as I stated. This is a part number 1. And what I'm going to do is, before I open the packages, which I already have opened, I opened the packages already. This is a long effing story that sucked my brain out because the camera repeatedly would stop video recording. I don't know. I have plenty, everything inside, memory, everything.
Right now,
How that stuff was done on March 25th, I already video recorded all that stuff. So the original video about my opening these items, so there will be no conspiracy theories, is coming as next. What I'm going to do is, this is a part, as I stated, part number 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to join clips. So this is going to be part number 1. I made mistakes when I opened these items because there was a lot of stuff that I stated that actually did not apply. And I'm going to explain to you, they even used pencils to draw the shit on the watches and stuff like this, so that would be accordingly with MK Ultra brainwash. It's very, very dangerous stuff here. That's why. And the camera stopped video recording on 2 occasions. Each time I spent 6 hours video recording this shit. And it was really frustrating when I realized that after 1 hour and 55 minutes, this is what you're going to see in part number 2. Stopped recording, and the second time, that was the next day when I went on to record like crazy, it stopped recording after 1 hour and I think it was 25 minutes. So plenty frustration here for me. And what you're seeing, practically I'm doing this shit practically for the 4th time. I know I did video recorded only twice for 6 hours.
yeah, so I will now continue the review of
This is 127.
I must say,
And this one here is, you're going to see 155.
Alright, so I'm going to do another round right now.
I don't know why the camera stopped video recording, and the 3rd time I had to watch everything over. Spent more hours basically to get my shit together and go on and get the job done. That's basically today. Really fast. This dude who delivered me this watches here that you see, he stopped here, turned around the car, And according to MK Ultra, I was supposed to go and follow this. That I don't say what I would even express myself. According to MK Ultra scenario, what I would do is, what best would be for me to do.
He's actually turning around his vehicle. Look at that.
That I really video recorded poorly, this stuff.
Unbelievable, unfucking believable. He would not even bother to ring the phone or anything like this. That's all the hell you do.
This was to be delivered to the postal office. No, he did not deliver anywhere to the postal office. Again, at my doorsteps. So this is continuation of this stuff. He did this shit. This guy did this kind of stuff to literally have me follow him according to MK Ultra scenario to get the watch. Still did not get one. Literally inside of the village. That's what he wanted. He wanted me to go and follow him into the village. Literally where he interacted with the people from the village and literally insisted me during MK Ultra with his relative also. Maybe he wanted me to identify one, I don't know. To this degree, probably I would say. Demand from him to get my watch. Which I am really not that crazy that I would go chase him through the village and demand from him to give me my fucking watch. That's what he anticipated. So we have to start, and this is a good start basically. This is a start. He turned around the car, he left to the village with idea that I will, according to MK Ultra scenario, go and chase him to the village where I would demand from him wherever he would stop to get this watch basically. That is practically, not practically, this watch is being stolen from me by the delivery company in Slovenia. Then that's most likely is the individual because he was the one who was delivering this type of watch according to MK Ultra scenario to the village. That means he's from one express. This is the dude, this is the guy who also would deliver this watch. Second thing is, he played with my sanity during MK Ultra. I told you they treated me like a trash, like a baby. And we're going to do it the old-fashioned ways. We're going to type the Google Maps because it doesn't, it's like the only way to get this stuff done now. This is improvement we have. And it would be like this. He would harass me and possibly even video recorded, I'm sure video recorded with people from the village. It's the neighbors. Then yeah, he would just at the neighbors, at the village people, where he would with the police, they would repeatedly incite me that I have to go and I have to demand watch from him, otherwise I'm not going to get the watch. And he alone insisted, only if you catch me. Then he went on to suggest me that literally here, where the village ends, the road goes through the forest like this. I would, if I would follow him through the village, I would not get him. And I would not get him because he would cut through the village. He would cut through the village and he would pop up on the other side nicely. It's called through the neighboring village Smolenja, and he would pop up here at the Slotnik. Here at the Slotnik, however, there is his relative At the Slotnik, there is his relative, and so now he reminded me of how he was driving me around whenever he would make deliveries to the Novo Mesto, something that it started in 2010. I think the guy started this job like in 2009. Police would say 2010, 2011, you know. I think his relative who was with him and would drive me also crazy in our village here demanded from me to chase him, to stalk him in the village and demand my watch. Is like about 185 centimeters tall and dark hair, and this guy, I think it's like light hair, and I think actually this guy is somewhere from like Trebnje or something. He's not from the city of the Novo Mesto, but I think this guy probably is even from Trebnje locality, something like this. And he works for the REPUTABLE. That's an Austrian postal service in Slovenia, like a branch they have in Slovenia. It's called REPUTABLE. So we are still at the part number 1, where I'm going to make you quickly explanation about the stuff that was used to drive me insane. And I got it completely wrong, and what you're going to see is part number 2. But in part number 3, I'm going to remind you basically of what you are watching right now in part number 1, and you understand the whole thing, basically how it all went. As I'm going to start part number 1, I will go to what you see here is March the 13th, 2024, which was another insane postal delivery of items that were delivered to me. And we'll refer to the watch that was delivered to me. This is this watch here. This is where we're going to go as first. This is one of the most important things when you're buying the watch, is to make sure that time is properly working. Something I did not even bother when I was reviewing the watches, which is kind of crazy. This is just a syndrome that you will develop when you get, I don't know, 30 watches destroyed, stolen and stuff like this, and you're just happy to have something that at least approximately shows you the time. So it's a sort of traumatic syndrome that did appear in me, disregarding many factors that otherwise a normal person would not. So this here, this stuff, I'm gonna say to you, I did the reviews about this. Yes, let's make sure that we get this stuff here done. No. Yeah, I did everything also in part number 2. The thing is that from this watch I did remove the belt because the belt was scratched and not supposed to be on a new watch, and I did put belt from another watch, used watch I have used, just like this also was used, and so I figure out that to protect that belt and use that as a proof, I am going to put another belt that I already have used, and that's it. This is the belt. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to type date and time. We're going to look exactly what the date and time is, and then I'm going to also compare with those watches which I already reviewed, and then I'm going to explain to you shortly what exactly everything I have done wrong in part number 2. Then I'll let you watch part number 2, and in part number 3, as I stated again, I will remind you everything of part number 1. That's the part we're doing right now. This watch was adjusted on the day I did a review because I would wear one since, and so the review of this watch was done on YouTube really shouldn't do the stuff like this, but okay. We're gonna do this March 13, 2024. And so you can see that March 13, today is March the 30, that is within the 17 days. If we compare the time, the watch is, how much is it missing? About 21, 22 seconds. Let's see this here. Based on the information I gave you right now, I also know that this is exactly the watch that was involved in MK Ultra. Yeah, you know, every little thing a human mind can recall. Those that work in psychiatry and are playing with MK Ultra issues will simply nothing other than confirm whatever I am stating to you right now. So this is the time, and you can see. So what about 23, 22 seconds is wrong within just what is it, 17 days? 17 days, yeah. So this already was reviewed. That's it. I'm just giving you an update. If you want to view this review, you will go here and you will review this stuff here. I am closing it down now. Sometimes it's something still that I need to review. And that's exactly what I'm going to do like this. Now let's go back. We're going to go back to this issue here that you see. And we're going to review. We will continue to review exactly what you have seen the guy did.
Will not stop here.
As I said, I recorded this twice. It failed me recording after 1 hour and 55 minutes. The second time after 1 hour and 27 minutes. I got really frustrated. I simply was talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking to myself.
Unfucking believable. He would not even bother to ring the phone or anything like this. That's all the hell you do. That there is, what is that stuff?
Yeah, you can.
I think that's
I'm on a terrace and I demonstrate you a package down below. You see, I'm up on the terrace. Look, I'm up on a balcony.
Right there. Look at it.
I'm watching him from the balcony at this point. And I go, and
look at that.
I know he put it on the chair. There you go. So, yeah.
I think that's a package.
The first time when I video recorded, that's close to 2 gigabytes, file 155 minutes. In part number 2, you're going to see I open it up.
You know, that would spur his face.
I stated the stuff. Well, you're going to see me open this watches, so won't be a problem. The thing is that, you know, with this investigation is being involved since 2008. We are talking about no less here than exactly 16 years. 16 years. 6 years of this here that you see. 16 years. It's a long, long, long time. Frequently, on a frequent basis, the telephones, such as a Samsung, let me see, I'm going to use a Korean company, Korean phone makers. Samsung was the one, but then also from Finland, Nokia, the same thing. But what matters here in this case, I'm going to give you an example about it doesn't matter. It's a Samsung or it's Nokia, but Samsung, which was involved in this stuff from South Korea heavily, started their telephones, the cameras, all the electronic, the high tech, really, literally were given by the Japanese technology in 1996. I remember in 1995, in 1996, the high tech technology, everything was given to Samsung, to South Koreans, Japanese, through this case. And it was like in the name of the help. They told me it's going to be a help, we're going to pay you and so on because we got it through you and this and that. It was Japanese that would equip Samsung with the stuff that they would later on they would keep the technology secret till they would literally create. They would prepare for production of the models, technology, their assembly lines, everything. So Japanese would give them a model just like this here that you see, and they would prepare themselves. Then they would launch the production. Typically, people would already have specimen, or I would say models already, like always. It would be like 5 to 6 years ahead of manufacturing and ahead of production. Always. I'm just giving you example. These are not telephones, these are watches. But the people that were involved in MK Ultra, they would frequently have gadgets, electronic gadgets, even cars that were due to production within like 5, 6 years after they would already involve them in MK Ultra. So this is totally, totally deadly if you come up and you say stuff even more than that, even more than 5, 6 years, even more than 5, 6 years. Totally deadly. When you would make statements like this, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. You would make yourself in a lot of trouble if you would say stuff like this, that you, this is already 2008. No. I have to explain to you how it all works, how this stuff works. The cars that were involved in MK Ultra it didn't end with Japanese giving everything to Samsung, always. Samsung caught up with the Japan, and in some areas, at least is what the Japanese started to insist me. South Koreans, I think they wanted to save money or whatever. They were not excited about sharing any money. So they were not excited about me. I was a bad commercial and so on. Started to insist me that it was South Koreans that in some fields were more developed even than Japanese and would give them in return certain things, whatever they were doing. But all these companies were involved. South Korea, everything, Hyundai, Ssangyong, all the companies that you have in Korea were heavily involved in it. And so was Finnish Nokia and so on. All the companies were heavily involved in it. The broker that took the credit for technology transfer always, or British royals, they would always go through the British royals. They were like brokers. They would authorize, they try to make themselves look at least big. So what I'm talking about here to you, it's a normal thing. It applies to MK Ultra, it applies to elites, it applies to top elites, top technology, top companies. Stuff I'm talking to you about, this is in the real world. This is the way it works. Now, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch did have watch that looked like this, but it would be thick like this. He would be using stuff like this to intimidate, to drive insane, to terrorize, to traumatize during MK Ultra. Likewise, just as I have adjusted this watch, the time on this watch on March the 13th, 2024, I have also made sure on March the 25th, that's basically 5 days ago, I would adjust time to all these watches here. For which, by the way, apparently even Chinese insisted me that I have to take the batteries out. that batteries are going to go bad. No, they're not going to go bad. They knew about the Slovenian police, what Slovenian police would do. I would go and squeeze, either my mom would do, or if I would leave the watch at home, squeeze the watches till the battery would be depleted. They would destroy you, kill you, the battery. Frequent tactic. And I must say that when I went to visit the father on my foot, 3 days ago, I have seen a lot of cars running in my direction toward home. And it was all kinds of stuff that happened once I came home. Trespassing into the room. I had moths on one folder. It's exactly what I was told based on MK Ultra scenario by investigator whom I had met at police station in Novo Mesto in 2022, where I came to request for assistance in respect to father's medical files, which General Hospital Novo Mesto would not supply me with. Just tip them over to remind me of what he said under MK Ultra he would do. Slovenian police was the one who planted moths inside of my room. And it was not only inside of my room. It was a bunch of other stuff that happened that lets me know there was a big action that went on when I went on foot out of the house. Something went on. I don't think it was mother that went on and started doing stuff like this, but okay. I wasn't here. So there's no way for me to say. We go back here to the time and date, and we'll continue. 5 days ago, when I adjusted this watch here, and basically this is what the watch is showing today as a time. You can see that this watch is up to the last second. I mean, this is like very satisfactory. Very satisfactory watch. There is nothing to say. This one I have improperly adjusted 4 days ago. Even if it would not show me a proper time, this watch is incredibly, they're incredible, simply time-wise, keeping time-wise. What can I tell you? These watches, since I started about 2008, were given in hands of Chinese future manufacturers by Japanese who had this kind of technology. They developed this kind of technology and they had it in program to go in a massive production through China. This watch is a Chinese-Japanese watch. The Japanese watch is part of the watch is a mechanism, is what you see inside, the way the watch is powered. Analog digital watch, and so are others. And for that matter, you can see that the precision is there. It's a precision. And it's a quality watch. First of all, it's a quality watch. It was all kinds of stuff that went on, and I will explain to you in continuation. But this particular watch, I'm going to do the review as soon as I check the time. So the first we're going to do is we're going to review the time. Every one of these watches has a big story behind them. This is the second watch. What matters is that even if the watches are not showing me right now exact time, according to what I adjusted one from 5 days ago, and this already pertains to also this watch, which went wrong like for a few minutes, and now is going exact. You see, I adjusted one again the next day on March the 26th when I went on to record, and now it's working up to the last second, I would say almost completely look. 51, 52, 53, exactly to what you see right there. You know, it's like incredible. 1 second ahead. That's because I didn't set that second the way I should. But other than that, this is it. The two you have to separate manually. You will have to adjust the time for the two. I prefer to have the same time on both, the one in the back, in the rear, and the one up front. Um, if this watch would not show a proper time, just as it happened to me, that I had to go and adjust one more time, it will be because, listen to me very good, during MK Ultra, when they were testing these watches, about how exact these watches were, it was a big fucking disappointment, I remember. It was watches they had, and some watches would be 5 minutes ahead, some 3 minutes ahead, some would be exact. It was a big confusion. So based on that kind of scenario, I also know that it was the police that would, out of probably 1,000 watches they ordered over the course of the time, like this, choose me the watches that they would have a certain issue on them, and that means that once you would adjust them, they would work up to the last, like this, like you have seen it's working now. But I don't know why, I don't know how. Somehow that you have to properly adjust them. I should say calibrate. It would be better expression would be calibrate them, so that because this is the way it works. Because you see, this analog part is what you see, this pointers here. You see the hands. Hands is what's called analog, and the digital obviously is what you see here in the background. That's a digital part of this analog digital watch. Anadigi watch is also what they call this stuff. And so what happens with this stuff is that if you have just like, let's say, analog watch or whatever, you also would always adjust the watch like this. You would go, like, if you want to adjust, like, beginning, like it's like let's say it's right now 2:11, you would have to go back, and then you would go from this side, you know, in this direction, in a watch direction you would go, and you would twist all the way our marker hand to our marker, and then you would adjust minute to 11-minute marker. Yes, and that would then give you the ability for you to basically for the watch to work. If you would go vice versa, and you would go from counterwise from the watch to adjust, and you would go our hand, you would adjust to 2-hour marker, and then you would take a minute hand and you would adjust one to 11 now 12-minute marker. It would not work, because the inside, right, because it's a counterwise, it's this way, is the energy is pushing that wheel, that I don't know how you would say that, but that powers the center of the watch, whatever. It goes this way. So that way you don't have what is known as a luft. You don't have empty space inside. Yeah. So, but if you go this way, you know, and you're pushing this way, this hands, you create like, before eventually it's gonna grab and start turning that way, it is going to be making empty space inside, and then it's going to grab that thing and start to pull. So that's why you have to properly adjust this stuff in, so that you would, even if it would not work today, this watch, properly, like up to the last minute, and it would be like 2-3 minutes or whatever it would be, doesn't mean that it doesn't work. I'm talking about, of course, not the digital part, but I'm talking about the analog part. Therefore, this hands, this pointers here that you see is what I'm talking about when it comes to, watch exactness. However, the time, however, it should be up to the last second. So according to MK Ultra scenario, this is also the issue they experienced. Um, let's see what that looks like. It looks to me like up to the last second exact. Even the analog is just incredible. Made in Japan, made in China. Better, we did already this one. Better than, I think, if you ask me, these watches are better than a Rolex. These watches, when they first came out, cost about $2,000 even. I was taught by Chinese to tell you. Even some dude insisted 5,000. It was hard to believe him, but 2,000 is a whole lot of money, and it was like this. And I'm talking about these watches. I'm not talking about Omega, or I'm not talking about Breitling or something like that. I'm talking about this particular disc watches. This company used to be, the history of this company, from what I was told, was like a smaller company, but like a 4-5 companies in Japan that would do the stuff like this. And it was apparently that was reduced to one company, that those companies went broke sometimes, like, oh, I don't know, this was a long story. Like 4 companies, and something even had to do with some brothers or something like this in Japan. And it was reduced into one company, and then that one would sold itself also to Miyota. Miyota is Casio, that's Japanese Casio. So another one is this here. These watches have been resented by the watch lovers, the wealthy folks, due to the what is acrylic plastic. They are not with the glass. I don't. This one, digital part, as you see, is up to the last second, and the other stuff is what I mentioned you earlier. I did not properly adjust it. The analog part, the same as it happened to me with this watch. So we have these 2 watches, but the digital part is up to the last second. So we are going now exactly according to MK Ultra scenario, which is possible. I'm gonna keep you updated about this stuff. So I will keep you updated with this stuff, and you know, you will get to see basically what's going on. So this one is up to the last second, everything. Also all adjusted on March the 25th. All the watches that you see here were adjusted on the March the 25th, except this watch, which I adjusted the next day, and it's working to me up to the last second, even the analog part. Yeah. So what do we have here going on? We have 3 watches here that are up to the last second, and we have one more here that is going to have to be, the analog part is going to have to be adjusted. When it comes to the time wise, when it comes to the seconds and stuff like that, 17, oh, this one is going wrong for like 3 seconds. It's going wrong for about 3 seconds and something. 3 seconds. Is going wrong 3 seconds. But the analog part, as you see here, what is this, 18, 20. Analog part is 100%, and the digital part, maybe I made a mistake. These are all good, very, very satisfactory. All of them, the 3 of them totally passed the test. This one, I have to adjust the time also, just like I did on this one 4 days ago. And then we're going to see basically what's going on with this one. You know, Japan made mechanisms, this kind of stuff. This is like, for me, this watches are about the value, the real value of this watches. Look, I don't know how much the Rolex costs, but yeah, I would say that the value of this watch is about 1,000 times higher than the real value, you know? 1,000 times higher value than of a Rolex, I would say, yeah? Let's see this stuff here. Yeah, guys, fuck you, eh? This is a Rolex price. Let's see this here. I just want to know what is the cheapest one. $5,000 to $8,000 is, they say here what is the cheapest, right? This is like an entry. And I would say, yeah, I would say the value of this watch is about at least 1,000 times better than of Rolex, I would say, indeed. But a Rolex, I don't know what the water resistance is on this stuff, but it was established during MK Ultra that Japanese water resistance, which this is not, this water resistance is totally made in China. The housing that you see is made in China. And the housing, the Chinese watch housing, was the first time when the Japanese also paid attention to the water resistance. The Japanese watch is famous for also water resistance, however, which provided also water resistance, had to pay attention to the Chinese quality of the housing due to Chinese government, which demanded that if it says 3 bars water resistance must be 3 bars. If it says 5 bars, therefore 50 meters, it's got to be 50 meters and so on. In short, if you had a Japanese made watch and it said 5 bars of water resistance, you should definitely not go and swim with that watch. Whether that was Casio, Seiko, and Citizen, with a 50 meters of water resistance, once you jump into the water, you could expect water inside of the watch. Well, this is not exactly the case with the Chinese housing, despite, as I stated, some people, hey, look at this poverty here for, what is it, 5, what is this right there, king, it says king, $5,000 to $8,000, and look at this here, for just, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. Look at it. Something that you can put on the hand and actually go swimming with. Do not press buttons. You cannot do anything like what I'm gonna demonstrate you with the Japanese made watch. If it says 50 meters water resistance, don't do it.
Alright guys, here we are trying the Smael watch. It's a very good price watch, but many people ask me to do a real diving try. We're gonna start doing something easy in the pool so you can see how it develops. I like many brand of watches and diving watches and different brands.
Come on, man, jump in there already and make it short. You wanna go and try this with a Casio? Well, with the old Casio watches, definitely you couldn't do anything like this. If, of course, you didn't want, you know, water inside of your watch. Chinese government officials got very upset because I don't know what happened, but they got very, very emotional about water resistance, selling it to the customers, and they took initiative in making sure that this Chinese watches, if it says 5, if it says 5 bars, that you would actually get enough kick out of it. Do you know the guy that I demonstrated you right now was involved in it? And he did, if this is, let me see this guy also was involved in it. The same guy. This is, what is this, 5 meters? Look at it. This is what this is. Try to do it with the Casio and you're gonna see how it feels. Especially, it's not gonna feel too damn good if you're gonna pay 50 bucks for it or $30 for it. And you can get this on a special from $10 to $15. I remember the neighbor here would be using literally this kind of watches for diving. So this is the stuff you will not go, or at least you will regret if you will do with the Rolex. By the way, also, which looks to me like a shit, more than a watch, you can get this here, this stuff here, for a fraction of the cost. Running on, I'm gonna do a little commercial because I got this really, really cheap. I will do a little commercial for this company, Smael. You get this stuff dirty, 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 dirty cheap. Even they're running special right now for €6.50. So God help you if you go and you dive, you happen to dive with your Rolex, and you see that there is fish swimming inside of one. You're gonna be so poor like never before, I think. If it happens something like this to you with a watch like this, you're not gonna go broke, for one thing. You're not gonna go completely insane. Is that like a price on that kind of stuff? I think sanity is worth more than $5,000 or $8,000 based on my case. The second thing I'm gonna do, I wouldn't wear fucking Rolex if you, I don't know, if you pay me. Seriously. The second thing I will do, I will review this also watch, which also arrived together on March the 25th. And basically is not as exact. It's got about like, it's got a, wait a minute. This is good. This is 28, almost up to the last second. Within the 5 days, this is much better than the watch that I demonstrated you earlier, which I have adjusted 17 days ago, however. So this one is not as exact as that one. Going quite wrong about 23 seconds about exactly what the police investigator stated me will be 40 to 45 seconds wrong per month. this watch absolutely was involved in MK Ultra. This is not a new watch. This is an old used watch, also used. And so are all these watches, for which Slovenian police demanded from me to claim you that 3 watches are new and the 2 watches are used. They demanded from me to claim to you these 2 watches are used and the 3 watches are completely brand new. No, they're not. They're not new. None of these watches is new. This watch here in particular, this one here, which is, if you go and you run special, it's a model 8060. Yep. This watch here that you see right there, it belongs to the guy who was involved in MK Ultra, and he is from Greater than Great Britain. Look, he's got a panther, he's got a puma panther, and he said, I am gonna do that for you, man.
Hello, everyone.
And he did. He did it. He managed to fuck them quite good for me. He did excellent job of all these watches here that you see. The best watch I like, and it really reminds me of him, is this one here. He fucked them because, as you're about to see in part number 2, it will be in part number 2, we're now at part number 1, you're gonna see scratches like this. I gotta be careful with this stuff. You know, the watch like this, actually, they sell for 40 bucks, 30 bucks under different brand names, like Liga, Foxbox also make watches like this, and they're way more expensive. Not only they're more expensive, but these are really valued technology as far as I'm concerned. Based on my generation, based on what I have seen in my life, these are extremely, extremely valued watches. I just wish I have ordered watch like this already before. I have not, because of this psychiatrist, cops, and Slovenian police who traumatize, as well as politicians. I'm going to get to that stuff heavily with this stuff. So, number one thing you're going to see when I open it, you're going to see on the watch, it's this here, it's a scratch. He scratched it like this deliberately, he did. This guy, whose video you're going to see right there. And he really, really fucked them. This is a real scratch. This he did. Let me put the microscope on so that you can see. He did this stuff for me, and he barely qualified. He barely have qualified for his watch to participate in MK Ultra. The one who reviewed the watches from the participants was a Slovenian police. And after Slovenian police selected the watches, those had to be approved by the British royals, that is in particular Prince Charles, who would go on, and together with another royal, I am not going to mention, to protect his ass, would then approve or disapprove. But they were pretty much accessible to all of them. All of them have seen exactly what I will get on a desk. You see, this here is knifed. This stuff is knifed. You're gonna see when I open it up, it's scratched. It is kind of difficult to actually even, isn't it? It sits difficult to video record this stuff. Oh, look, we're gonna do it like this, and I'm gonna move this slowly, softly. Let's see that. This British dude is actually from Egypt. And I would really, really thank him for this stuff. He really, really did a good job. He did an outstanding job by scratching this watch. He barely, I understand, would qualify for this stuff. But he did. I was a bitch enough. And so he did it. And I'm glad he did. And he did me a favor, to be honest with you. For one thing, he shut mouths to Slovenian police because they cannot say that these are new watches. They're not. No watch that have visible defects, deliberate scratches, or either deliberate scratches or scratches due to wear is new. New watch also is not the watch that is being stored in a storage for many years. Like I'm gonna demonstrate you these watches. A new watch also is not the watch that's being opened. This is actually much bigger scratch that okay, finally. Let's just hope that okay, this is so much better. This is basically what this looks like from up closer, and not even this because I cannot come completely close to it. I think still the best can be seen with a telephone. But this is knifed. This is 100, there you go. Like with the knife you go and you like scratch. You do the scratches like that, you know? Scratched up. You can see those silver like that scratches. Bit difficult to see. Really better with a phone because I cannot come close enough to, you see. Yeah, everybody get to review these watches, including Americans who also claim this watch is new. No, it's not new. I would not have the guts to jump with any of these watches inside of the water. Joe Biden obviously truly lost his mind big time. The thing about it is, these idiots would not even know how to properly replace seals inside of the watch, gaskets in other words. And when the watch is open like more than on a dozen occasions, to fuck with, to play with, that's not a new watch, buddy. I would not have a guts. These watches are beautiful, gorgeous, but I will not use them for the swimming. Instead, I will wait for the police to return my watches. Once I get my watches, still I will go ahead and inspect them. I'm gonna have more money also to play with the gaskets, seals and stuff like that, and I'm gonna make sure then I'm gonna use them. I would not want to lose the watch like this no matter what, because in my opinion, as I stated, they're better, 1,000 times better in a real sense than a Rolex. This is a value to me. This is what presents a value. Incredibly good looking watch for such a cost that is anybody in the world can afford watch better than a Rolex. Whether you're in India or in China or in Africa or in South America, or this is a value to me. This is a real value. The best watches ever. And if I only knew that this watch is so good, if I only knew that this watch is so good, that they are so good, these watches, I would simply not even bother with any other watch. I would go simply and purchase watches. One watch would be enough, one watch like this, and that would be it. So this is my MK Ultra choice. The police investigators demanded from me to see myself in a watch like this, which are also great watches, I would say. incredible value, fantastic value. But for me personally, these are the watches that I adhere the most to. This every one of these watches here is, man, I thought that I was excited about this watch here that I would get because of MK Ultra. I wanted this watch. To tell you the truth, I am with these watches here. I'm surprised with this Smael company. The way this stuff here is just, I saw from Liga exactly the same model like this. I'm gonna break down later on this watches in, I don't know, in part number 3 maybe I will. I don't know. I don't guarantee you that. I'm gonna open some sport channel or something and I'm gonna do this stuff. If I only knew that this was good, I wouldn't waste any fucking money. I would go straight to simple like this. Any watch like this would do it for me. Any one of this would do it for me. That's it. Because you don't get anything better. Not that it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me doesn't apply here. It doesn't get any better. This is the thing. When it comes to watch, no. The watches are big. Yes, they're big. They are big. You're going to hear me lambasting. In a part number 2, you're going to hear me lambasting. I'm going to go and I'm going to say, oh no, man, these are not. You're not going to hear me lambasting. You're going to hear me saying that just like you're going to hear this guy whose videos I'm going to post underneath, below. I'm going to put his video on. And you can hear him saying that the belt is not big enough.
86 of these for less than £10 UK currency. And this brand is that.
Actually, the belt is too big. The strap is too big.
You can look at this. It's very stylish.
He is very, very happy with this. Very satisfied with this watch.
It just looks luxury as well.
I bought this watch because of him.
And it has a
I would not buy this watch if it was not for him.
grippy, secure strap as well.
I'm gonna say
It doesn't
thank
come
you.
off that easily. You also
Egyptian boy.
stainless steel back here, and it's also waterproof feature as well. You got the buttons here, you got these buttons there as well. It's waterproof up to 50 meters, multifunctional, so it does have built-in stopwatch. It also has luminous mode as well, so it does have the night light when you press it. So for night time, you can see the lights. Wear this, and let me show you exactly how it looks.
He couldn't put one on. He couldn't put one on. Yeah. And he's got another video for which he stated me. He played something a little bit. He did with the police. He had to do the stuff for the police. But like I've stated, the scratch here he did is priceless. We're going to get to all those issues. We are still at part number 1. We are still at part number 1. You're going to see I'm going to be talking to you in part number 2 about the scratches. That these watches are all fucking scratched up in the back. They're not. I'm going to review these watches right now. As I stated, they're not new. For the reasons already I specified to you. They don't have to be used, not to be new. And the thing about it is that they're not.
Stainless steel.
You see this paper here? I already have removed one away. This is exactly what Slovenian police have done. I keep that paper. That scratches on one, that it just looked like as if this watch is all fucking scratched in the back. As I open it up and I look at it and I was like, my God, fuck, it was all scratched up, you know? It all looked like scratched up to me, and I became mad because police investigator, a criminal employed at the Novo Mesto police, whom I have required to assist me with the right to my access my father's medical files in 2022 was the one who demanded from me to accept even this watch as a new watch. In fact, he claimed for this watch, due to what there will be meetings at the Brdo pri Kranju here in Slovenia, NATO even meetings and stuff like that, that this police would go on these meetings, and they told me, this is going to be the watch, like this is going to be the watch, this is going to be your watch, nice metal, and like this is going to be the watch you're going to be using when you're going to be interacting with the foreign leaders. When you're going to go in some nice place, you're going to wear the watch like this. And when I open it up, the watch looked like incredibly beautiful, because it's a really incredibly beautiful watch. This watch is just totally, I'm going to say, it's incredible. This watch is incredible. Yeah. It's an incredible watch. There is no doubt about it. For a few bucks that you pay for it, you get belt, watch belt, strap, metal strap that is of a quality of a Casio. Like, incredible. Like, I was like fucking shocked, man, because I wanted a good strap, metal strap, and as you know, all the straps from all the watches I ordered, Slovenian police simply delivered them used, and also have deliberately caused them damage them, vandalized them. It was two things they did. All the watches from the belts they delivered to me were fucking nasty, man. Scratched up, fucked up, with all the watches already discontinued. Reminded me of those models that I ordered. Not that I ordered, that they played with during MK Ultra. Remember when I told you about the telephones, about the Samsung, etc., etc.? Well, that's exactly what we are talking about. They would deliver me through the postal office, through the postal services, Slovenian postal governmental services, watches that were used, old, already long discontinued watches, and not the watches that I ordered from the internet. That kind of stuff went on. So what I'm going to say to you for this stuff, this watch here, you don't have to be, if I go and I do the review for these watches, and I already told you exactly what's going on with this watch. There's just few extra things I'm gonna do for you, explain to you about the stuff I did right now, but that's all there is to it, mostly, you know, for the most part. There's nothing much here for me to add. This watch, you're gonna hear me crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. I am not gonna go and guess whether the strap is new or is not new. Look, when this is the watch, and you know, you're not supposed to do stuff like that. You see, it's like cracking basically, because the belt itself was taken down, it was placed on. The same thing from this side. It's bent. Look at it. Look how it stands. Let me demonstrate you rather like this. Okay, this is not the way it's supposed to be, like this. You know, it's not supposed to be like that. See this? Look. What the fuck, eh? It doesn't even itself up. And look how nasty it is. Now, this is the stuff you're going to see all in part number 2. Look at this stuff here. Look at this shit, is nasty, eh? See it? Oh, they didn't even bother to properly, once they took the belt off the watch, they did not even bother to properly close this thing so that watch would be like the way it should be, you know. On one side it's like this, on another side is like that. That's definitely not a new watch. That watch is being used. And it was the belt, in fact, that was taken off, that was taken down. You can see even it's all fucked up, it's all twisted, it's nasty. Look at it. Look at this stuff here. Look what the fuck nasty that stuff is. And it's actually designed to fall apart at just about any time, exactly as to what police investigator who took my computer when I reported one being not new, a Lenovo computer. When I reported one to the police, he was the one who, with the mentioned police investigator in 2022, when I came in request assistance in respect to father's medical file at police station Novo Mesto, was the one who promised me, together with this investigator, he also was the one playing with it, who promised me, he stated to me, well, this stuff is going to be done also in such a way that once you're going to start wearing this stuff, the watch will simply fall apart. What Slovenian police would demonstrate me, what they would demonstrate me, they would do, talking about now mostly with investigator. So I asked them, what the fuck am I going to do with it? You know what they told me? They told me, you're going to take exactly this watch and you're going to put the mechanism inside. Remember, this one is not exact. It goes wrong for about 40 to 45 seconds per month. So this is basically what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to play, switch mechanisms. Lunacy. Slaviansky. Look, I watched the police investigator whom I have gone to request assistance in respect to father's medical files in 2022 take how you say that, a gaze, I think it doesn't matter, or a piece of cloth. It's a white thing that you would be using on a Q-tips, I don't know how you say that, to clean your ears with. I think it's not gaze, it's a swab. I don't know how you call that stuff. And he would go and use a rubber alcohol and would go like this. After he would use the watch for 14 days, 1 month, or 1 month and a half, or 2 months, or idiot would change his mind and use for 1 month, 2 months more, whatever the fuck he was up to, he would just go and use the rubber alcohol and the swap and would just go like this. He would be doing in one direction, removing all the scratches, all the use, wear, tear, basically removing the clear scratches that are characteristic for the new watch. You know, when you get a piece, a metal, when you get one from the machine, it's always clean and clear, you know, like bruises, you know, when you do the machinery work, ding, 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 when you, I don't know how you say that, when you stamp these pieces from the production, you know, it's, when you look at the piece, when you take the piece in your hands, you can see, you can see basically, you know, everything basically the way it's factory, it's done, you know. But what he was doing is he was making this like less visible. It wasn't about only removing the fingerprints and stuff like that. It was making it less visible. And then there's another danger. It's why I'm gonna stop using this before. I will actually see, read over, educate myself before I would even go and use any of this stuff. He would do the stuff like this to literally oxidize this shit, cause damage to the metal part, to the housing. And it did happen to me so already on the watch that it became a rusty. They would develop the watches that will become rusty, nasty, ugly, and so on. Yeah, and that stuff is done by literally by a rubber alcohol, as they demonstrated me. They would use and they would brush and brush and brush in the back like fucking crazy. And as this other individual police criminal employee as an investigator in the Novo Mesto police station explained to me, once you're going to start using it, you're going to put on your skin and you're going to sweat. You know, it's a salt, it's acid that mixes with the damage that's been done to the housing. And what it happens is it gets rusty, it gets oxidated, it gets fucked up. From the beginning, when it all started, sometimes in 2002, these Slovenian criminals wearing a police uniforms were extremely successful at it, demonstrated me actually the watches they managed to destroy like this. But now, since technology have changed, and this stuff alone might have been replaced, I don't know exactly when it comes to, it's supposed to be stainless steel. But I don't know really the technology behind this stuff. They might not be as successful. I don't know what now goes on with this stuff, whether this would do stuff like this or would not, but this is the stuff I'm talking to you about, goes all the way to 2000 and, why? Because, there are different finishing procedures that are done. Anywhere from cars to watches to whatever it is to protect the surface from oxidation, from rust, and so on. So you would use this type of procedures to protect, from atmospheric elements that I mentioned. And so I don't know really what the outcome of this stuff it would be. Maybe it's going to be like this. Maybe it's not going to be. But they demonstrated me in 2000, in 99, in 2000, in 2002. They were still demonstrating me how they managed to fuck up the watches like this with this alcohol. And that's the stuff they were promising me that they would be doing, stuff like this, yeah? So now if I go and I pay attention to this watch, the belt you have seen partially already. I am going to quickly review this for you. What exactly do I think about the belt? If nothing else, that this belt already have fallen many times on the floor if it was not used. I'm sure you can see the scratches. This is all the stuff you're going to see originally when I open in a part number 2. Not being done by Bobby, no. I didn't do it. I got nothing to do with it. You don't have to worry about authenticity of the stuff I'm talking about, because in part number 2 I go completely insane. And you're going to hear me cursing and stuff, me being sure about something that is out there, actually that's being done because of the stuff like this, that in fact in reality was not even. Why don't I just step outside? I think the light is going to do better. Police investigators told me, go out. When you go out on a bright light, it's going to be so much better lighted everything. It's going to be easier for you to do the review of the watch. Yeah, I hope I have not done. So let's see how it's outside, if it's truly, because they said outside anything can be seen, everything can be seen. And look, really look at that. We can see so much better outside this stuff. They were right. See, the police, they were right. They were totally correct about it. It's also less glossy. It's less. Oh, look at that. That stuff is actually, what the fuck is that, man? That's all bent. Eh? Look at that. Oh, this kind of looks nasty. They also have insisted me about the stuff you see like this on the side here that you see. But this is just due to the way this stuff is manufactured. And also because, yeah, this watch is not new. This watch is used. Something you're going to see when I go after and I open it up. It's quite nasty, actually. Oh, no. So I have to be careful because the surface is not clean. Let's do it like this. More about this scratches, including this one here that you see on the side. This is like scratch, you know, scratch like a scratch. You're going to see in continuation when I go about it. What is important to note is that the watches in the rear do not have scratches, as I insisted they have. So I am only referring to that kind of stuff. This watch does have, due to plastic paint, a surface like this. This is not a metal. It's imperfect because it's a plastic stuff. Let me see if I can see this with a bare eye. And if you go in the back, you can see authentic scratches. You will see once you get into the part number 2. This is not what the scratches look like, and they are all over the watch. This watch, it was without any kind of protection in the back. This watch was simply, how can I say, without those papers that I demonstrated you earlier that other watches had. It's very, very difficult to record, isn't it? Maybe it's a light, I don't know what the fuck is it, but very, very, very difficult to... I'm gonna take the light off to see if I can do better now. Okay, I already indicated you were able to see that these watches are definitely not new, that these definitely are used watches. And this was the worst watch. Telephone is really giving me a hard time. Very, very difficult to record. I can assure you, however, this watch is nowhere near any condition so that I would see this as new. This watch is a tremendous value because of the belt like this. The belt is like Casio quality belt. Really is. I rate the belt itself as like a top of the line Casio belt. Love the belt like this. If you want a high quality belt, then this is all you need. For me personally. But if you want extras, if you want to keep your watch inside of the fucking drawer, that's basically what the Rolex people do. They wear once when they go in the church. Go ahead and make my day too. I don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can see the scratches. You can see the scratches all over. It's also oxidized, the stuff that I mentioned to you, due to most likely what was the play with the alcohol, with the rubber alcohol and stuff have taken place on this watch. Nasty fucking watch. And what can I say? Scratched up. Very difficult to record. Very, very difficult to record because it's metallic like this. It's a metal and it's just giving things. It's just giving me a hard time to record this stuff. Not an easy thing to record. I think I made a point. I don't think that I need more than that. This is not what you go to the store to purchase watch like this. You don't go and do the stuff like this. Slovenian police insisted to me that they will return the watches to me. Indirectly, they insisted they would return the watches to me. That's because these criminals believe that I would be satisfied with. No. Not because I would be satisfied with getting my watches returned. No. They fuck you by doing this kind of stuff, and they did fuck me. They fucked me a lot with this kind of logic. There's a whole logic, you know, that we will return you and we will not. And it was all the time I had to listen how they fight with one another, that they will not return and they will return and so on. And they wanted me to take sides, and it driving me insane. No, they don't do that kind of stuff. They don't do this kind of stuff they don't do this kind of stuff for you. They want you to say, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. They do this kind of stuff to fuck you like this. I don't have it here. I'm going to demonstrate to you why they do the stuff like this. And they do the stuff like this so that once you already receive, like for instance, example, bags like this, which however are damaged. You know, I did the video recorded about that stuff already. You will not wear them. And you will not wear them because it became so toxic and so dangerous, so deadly. Guys, you don't even know how violent this stuff is I'm talking to you about. This is such a world of violence that went on for 51 years in my life that you don't actually even dream about the stuff I'm talking to you about. To you, all this shit seems like simple, easy, but it's not. It's complicated, it's shitty, it sucks, and that's exactly what is not. It's not simple. It's so toxic, stuff like this, that you would go and you literally would go and eat fucking poison to prove them wrong. I am a little bit abstract here, I'm just trying to give you an idea. So poisonous stuff it is, that I personally, even that I have, I don't know how many of these bags I got, and they were not in a good condition. They were cut, they were in a bad condition, the way they presented me are gonna fall apart and all kinds of stuff like this. Pieces that were involved in MK Ultra, so toxic that I continue to use. I will change now, because of this video I will change, that I continue to use this stuff. And they were behind cutting me these things, and they were behind destroying me zippers, and this shit is dirty and it's nasty. This is why they insisted to me about whether they're going to return my watches or not, so that I would not wear the watches that I got. This is why they have presented me these watches as the watches that are being used, oiled, and foremost to fuck me, for me to go out there and say, you know, well, you know, these watches are fucked up, they're no good, they're no new, and this and that. These are the issues that eventually get you killed. So remember in 2012, these very same people were the people that labeled me as a paranoid schizophrenic, so they would get me in the psychiatric hospital and get me killed through the use of the psychiatric pills. The amount of health damage they created through the psychiatric pills, it just mounted. It just, you know, all the poisoning they did, it was just like a booster for all the health damage they caused through the psychiatric pills. No, you don't understand how toxic, how deadly stuff I'm talking to you about. Once they label you as a paranoid schizophrenic, you have to be very, very careful how you do these reviews. Because if you don't do the reviews in a proper way, you can as well as mine prove them right. All these watches have been already investigated ahead of time, including by Chinese, British, Americans, everybody who participated in it. This is not a regular investigation. Everything I state, I have to justify, rationalize, or I'm dead, actually. during MK Ultra, it was a police investigator, it was all kinds of police officers who suggested them, we will give you all the items, we will give you, the thing is, I will fucking tell you today that I am wearing this watch, I am wearing the watch, I will retain all these watches, these watches are all mine, and police will also return me my watches. These are not new watches. I will not be arguing with plain logic. I will tell you, look, look, that fucking company that you see there, that Kirka Pharmaceutical, will be sold for twice as much as the company costs. They will compensate me the money for this stuff. I will tell you this, you will fucking sell your Lek Ljubljana, whatever the fuck you have, and you're going to come up with the money that you owe me for this shit. That much about this watch. That's one thing. I'm going to be the one who's going to tell you how this shit is going to be. In meanwhile, however, I decided I will wear these watches, and I will also choose myself that stuff. I will fix myself. I will do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be anymore depriving myself of the stuff. So somebody would giggle behind my back, watch me all broken and destroyed, with idea in my head that the police had my items and they will return my items. No, I'm going to start enjoying these items. Police investigators insisted this is my watch, that's my watch, that's my watch. If you're going to wear one, if you're going to damage one and so on, you're not going to, and we're going to get to that issue. If you will be doing that kind of stuff, we will not. Today is Saturday, by the way. Right now, really, it's the time that you see is 3:10. Not so many cars going at work, so the ambulance does its business. If you will be scratching my watch, it came to the issue that if you will scratch my watch, I will not give you your new watch that is at the police station. I will not give you your new watch. Imagine this kind of stuff. You know how toxic this shit is? You know how insane this stuff is? And everything since you were born literally comes not only in your mail that is ripped apart and destroyed. 1%. Not even 1%. Listen to this. Look what the fuck is this. Hold on. Look at this. There's no traffic, there is no cars, there's nothing. Let's see. Look at this. Look at this ambulance vehicle with the lights on. Hey, they had me at the Kirka Pharmaceutical suggesting the workers in the Kirka Pharmaceutical that I'm going to take their homes and so on. That's, I'm going to say, just too fucking bad. All you were worried about your fucking homes, your houses, your cars, your money, your things. That's just too fucking bad. For that matter, you have people over there in Ljubljana, your politicians, and it's why you, the people, have placed me inside of the psychiatric hospitals already. You ruined my life. It's too fucking bad. And when you're gonna talk to me, instead of me, talk to your politicians that you have in Ljubljana. Don't talk to me about this stuff. It's like this. I will enjoy this stuff. There was a police officer that started to fuck with me during MK Ultra, suggesting me that I shouldn't wear this, go swimming with it, because I'm going to go to the water swimming with it. Then what's going to happen is the water will come out. They're not resistant. They have been opened, and remember, and this and that, and it's my watch and this and that. And there was another guy who said, hey, fuck it. What I do is I take the watch and I jump inside of the river, and this is how I test if they are water resistant. But the thing is, I am not going to go and do any of this stuff, but I will enjoy them. I would rate and I would say today to you that out of these watches here that you see, in somewhat new condition, that applies to what this watch here, my Egyptian guy from Britain used. This watch was, I'm going to do this watch one more, yeah, and then I'm going to give you, what? They say that I have to tell which one qualifies as new. None. As simple as this. None qualifies as new due to reasons I have stated earlier. If you keep the watch, like in the case of the Egyptian guy here that you see here, this watch here, this watch is being worn. This watch was worn for probably even about 6 months. Maybe the watch was worn even for 6 months. If I have his watch, the watch is being worn for about at least 6 months. They wanted me to say 3 months, and police investigator insisted to like a 1.5 month. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. For me, this watch, this watch here, this is like the best watch of all the watches I have, and it's the watch I wear. This watch was worn. Let me see this here. Let's see this. What's like in the back. Yeah. You're gonna see in the part number 2. You're gonna see in the part number 2. You're gonna see this watch is. This watch is. You're gonna see in the part number 2.
You can see it.
It looks really, really nasty because when I got one, when I opened one, when I took one apart, and when I look at the watch was simply camouflaged. They have used some kind of substance, something, which they have compared during MK Ultra to my laptop, to my computer. This is basically what it would look like this. I said nasty like this, like you have, it's gonna be like on your computer, like this, to camouflage the face from the watch. Basically, this part, the front part that you see like this, it was all nasty. But it became evident that all the stories they gave me, they did not apply to this watch. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the review of every watch. This is the best. I don't have anything else I would add to this watch. This watch is used. Definitely the belt. The biggest concern that I have in respect to this belt is actually the part that you see right there. This is the part that you see right there, is the part that the nurse JANKO had a problem with. How mentally retarded stuff it looks like, right? I mean, these are exactly the people that then you get to meet under crazy circumstances. And, you know, what do we say? If he's talking about, you know, stuff that the people that he met people like this and that, well, it will really sound crazy. If I wouldn't have the MK Ultra proofs, I must admit, it would sound insane. Really, like you read from some book about some lunatic or something like that. Yeah. Except that I'm a little bit more literate than the writers of that book. That's where the problem is. So basically, hey Charles, you know, this here that you see here was presented to me. I would have, it would be the biggest problem to me. I indicated them that this type of belt, most likely the damage they would, basically that they would do to this belt would be right here with this stuff. So I don't know. It looks pretty decent. It looks good. It closes, it works. And I'm gonna say to Slovenian police, I'm gonna say thank you. I'm gonna say thank you, guys. I'm gonna say fuck you. Oh, it is beaten up here on the side too. That's also interesting. At least oxidized. Maybe the time, since these are all the watches that were involved in MK Ultra, have taken its toll on it. That's also a possibility. If it was not used, which I really sincerely I doubt it, I don't wear this watch. I never wear this watch. This watch is scratched, man. That's a knife right there. As far as the watches, I'm gonna say to Slovenian police, I'm gonna say thanks, guys. I'm gonna use it till I get also my watches, not till I get back my watches, but until I get my watches. Yeah. Likewise, like I said, I'm gonna also change the pouches and stuff that I have for the telephone and so on. I'm gonna be fucking waiting on anybody. There is stuff right there that's waiting on me, that's brand new at the police, and that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna start enjoying the benefits of this stuff today. These watches are free watches, actually, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, we did this stuff here. This is fucked up. Oh, look at that. Ahaha, it doesn't work like this. You can hear the sound. It doesn't work like this. This is it about this kind of watch. The watch that I hoped for, invested the biggest hopes in it, it's not new. My goodness. This watch, imagine, was the worst, in a worst state of them all. This was really the watch that I was really looking forward to, and really does have a beautiful belt. I will, well, not be doing that kind of stuff yet. This watch, they also fuck it up because it's 5 atmospheres. This was the one I was hoping, in case you don't have the money anyways and you are afraid to put the oil in it, you can do some hydromoding. If you like to go swimming, you don't have to go and buy, you don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars to buy yourself expensive, I don't know, Seiko watch and stuff like that, you know. You can just go and you can just take the watch, you know. Let me see if somebody did that kind of hydro mode. It's called a hydro mode, and you will be using a silicone oil, and you will put that, you would throw that silicone oil inside of your watch. You would soak your watch inside of the silicone oil. Actually, the mechanism is what you would do. The mechanism, the movement inside, you would simply go and you would hydromode that stuff. This is G-Shock indeed, yes, sort of. And I think it's better, I don't know. To me, it's definitely better value than any G-Shock, any watch. Hydro mode is something like this, so that you can use, and then you can go swimming with it, diving. The watch, once you throw that silicone oil or whatever you have in it, you can just go, I don't know, with a regular watch that costs a few dollars, you can go and you can dive with that watch for, I don't know, 100, 200 or 300 meters or 400 or 500 meters, I don't know how deep, wherever you want. How funny, because my mama stated with the psychiatrist subject claiming that this sound of the phone that she's gonna have, that this is a police, that this is a psychiatry, this is an ambulance and so on. I get crazy stuff. This is MK Ultra Element. I would recommend you, if you do hydro mode, do the digital one. Rather than analog, even that people do analog also. You see, they also do hydro mode analog watch, but I would say to you, probably you shouldn't hydro mode digital analog. It all comes to viscosity of oil. Now, water is completely liquid, and it will that's why it also gets anywhere due to pressure that mounts itself around the housing. But once the watch is filled with oil, some people even put inside olive oil, it will equalize the pressure on inside with the outside pressure, and there is no pressure that would insist that needs to get inside of the watch. So that's why you can get with a cheap watch, I don't know how deep you want to go diving, basically. You know what I mean? And the thing is that since this is only digital watch, and since this watch does have 5 bars of water resistance, and since Slovenian police knew that I will want the watch that I will go on the river and swim with and have a good time with, that I don't actually see the... okay, it says WR 50 meters right there, yes. And the other watch, which is this one here, only has 3 bars, that's 30 meters, which is the same watch, practically, it's the same watch. They went ahead and they fucked up the housing, which was the most expensive part on this watch, to make sure that I could not go and or switch or whatever I would do. Yeah, so yeah, I am not gonna go and destroy this watch. This watch is still good. Once I get my money, I'm gonna buy myself seals, gaskets I should say, some right oil, and we'll do just the stuff the way I want it. But until then, I will not go and do the stuff like this. So the two are gonna have to wait for the swimming. We're not gonna be doing any kind of hydro molding yet. We're not gonna be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I will use it. What can I say? I will use. I like it. I will use. If I were to replace, let me see this stuff here. Yeah, this is also interesting stuff to see. Yeah, I think so. I think that I do that kind of stuff too. I'm not gonna get into that stuff. To put the shiz shit further, Slovenian police would play with these stickers here that you see here during MK Ultra. You see how small the sticker is that covers the face? You see it? Here on the bottom part, it only comes up to here. This is a protective filter that is glued at the top of the watch so that the watch would not get scratched. And so Slovenian police insisted me they would mount a small stickers like this so that I would make sure, just like on this watch, to place my own sticker on it, which I did, which I recommend you guys if you want to protect your watch. buy yourself some of that plastic that you can glue on your telephones, and then just according to the face of your watch, cut that out and pop that at the top of your watch, and then you have a strong, rigid plastic protection for your watch, just like this. This watches here, however, you don't have to worry about, because they come with original plastic. Is already, it's like that kind of filter paper is so fine, you can absolutely not see anything, so beautifully done, you know. This are really, I'm impressed with it. And so this is not even going to be such an easy task for you, because the glass is like this. Actually, the glass is like that, you know. The glass itself, the surface of the glass, if you would a profile the surface of the glass, it goes like this. It goes like this. It's curvy like that, and then it goes like this. This is like straight. Actually, what the fuck? I did really poorly this one. Okay, so it's okay. So I'm just gonna show you what exactly I mean, right? So it's gonna be kind of difficult to do it, because you're only gonna have to, you are only allowed, basically you can only do, to protect maximum that you can do your watch protection, you can only as a filter that you're gonna glue on top of it, it's only this here that you will use, only this stuff here. You're only gonna up to here like this. This stuff here, because it's curved, the plastic is curved, it goes like this, you're not gonna be able to cover. So if you're gonna do a really good job, it's gonna look something like this, you know, but you will never ever be capable to glue the whole thing. This stuff with the Slovenian police goes into the category of harassment, for which I told you earlier. If you will scratch my watch, if you would scratch my watch, I did not bother to put the filter here to scratch anybody's watch. Don't worry, this is my watch. You're not gonna get one back, and my watch is the one that you have stolen, is waiting on me to come to pick one up at the police station. That also is my watch, not your watch. So they did this kind of stuff. When I say they did this kind of stuff, they paranoided me. It's called the paranoia, incitement into paranoia, through the anger, through the toxic, to make you completely toxic stuff. So to drive you insane, nuts completely. They did this kind of stuff so that I would say that these watches don't come with this kind of, originally, they don't come with this kind of stuff, with this kind of cover. No, it's not really the truth. The truth is they did fuck with this stuff, because the way it's placed like that, I'm sure that in the factory they didn't put this filter on this plastic like that. But in reality, I do believe, I don't know, maybe they don't even come like this, I don't know. In reality, you're gonna have to do this stuff yourself. In reality, most likely they do come with a shitty protection like this, and are not as protected as good as this. Yes. And so this is MK Ultra. This is the type of investigation we are doing. I have to reveal you how they were trying to drive me nuts to say that they deliberately place smaller paper on it, because this is what they brainwash me with. Yeah, this is investigation. This is a strange, different type of investigation, but this is basically the way it goes. Imagine last time when I did this kind of stuff and computer stopped, actually telephone stopped to record twice, and I did this shit for 6 hours just to realize I did not video record. I wasn't happy about it. Especially I wasn't happy about it because in the second part, as we are getting now, so this watch here is finished as far as I'm concerned. The rest of it, you're going to see me cursing in part number 2, talking about how the watch is being used and worn out, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to come up with the theories. This is it for me. One reviewed. The second watch, if I would go review, basically there are 2 reviewed watches. The second one, this one was from March 13. The second watch I will review is basically this one here, this watch here. This was the watch that I like during MK Ultra also. This is another thing, is that I like this watch during MK Ultra, and I like one in real time. I like every one of this. I really enjoy them. These watches, ladies and gentlemen, come with the Japanese batteries. They come with the batteries that probably work 2 years. In my case, because I used the battery already a few times, I squeezed the light here. They, however, must go on for at least a year and a half, unless somebody replace them, which 100% in my case, this watch already on several occasions must have a battery replaced. The original battery must have been replaced. This watch has been opened up at least on a dozen occasions. It's not as bad as I talk about it in part number 2. If I go back to this guy here, whom I have demonstrated you, my Egyptian guy from Britain.
Waterproof feature as well.
He's got the accent here.
Got these buttons there as well. It's waterproof up to 50 meters. Multifunctional, so it does have built-in stopwatch. It also has luminous mode as well, so it does have the night light when you press it. So for nighttime, you can see the light.
I would say to you, buy whatever watch you're going to buy, and make sure that you, once you open it up, order yourself from AliExpress gaskets, seals, and before you're going to go swimming, also get yourself a nice proper set of screwdrivers, then properly seal the watch back by literally going and using first screws to twist properly, to adjust the screws in the following order. This and this, first, second, and then this and this. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, because basically when you squeeze this, this is one, and it works in a cross section like this, and then it goes this, and then it goes this. So the cover properly adjusts itself, and then what you do is you go each one more and you make sure that it's properly sealed. You might also have to purchase, I don't know about it, but there is also some kinds of oil, something like this, that they put inside of this channel when it comes the gasket inside, the seal, and so that it's exactly accordingly with the manufacturer's specifications. Don't fuck with this stuff, because you're gonna have a problem. If you do it all the way you properly should do it, and then you can have any of these watches for the stuff like this. And you got to admit, this is funky, isn't it? Going like this on 5 meters deep water, swimming like that, that's actually a fun stuff to do. Fun stuff to have without even going and hydro moding the watch. Yeah, I would say do not hydro mode this watch. Do not hydro mode this watch unless you know what you are doing. I have never hydro moded a single watch in my life, and you know that for that matter too, I chose to would have something like this, but I will wait because I don't know nothing about. I am not going to even take the batteries out, as I was brainwashed to take them out, because, you know, when we set the record clear, I want to do what is going to be the third investigation, so that we actually see what the fuck they did inside, what is inside, and so on. One time I caught them, I opened the package at the postal office. It was enough of it. I caught them like that. I, however, would not go and fuck with this stuff here, with any of these watches, till I actually make sure that I plan on having this watch for a very long time. I was told that these watches do not last during MK Ultra. I was told that these watches last only like 5 years or something like this. I frankly have to say I am in disbelief of something like this because of Japanese mechanism inside. I very doubt about that stuff. I don't think they go for 5 years. Um, I don't think they go even 10 years. I think the watch like this most likely would last you at least like 15 years, I would say, and possibly even longer, I think. I am not going to use the battery at all. That's, I mean, the light. Because another funky thing about this stuff is that with a smartphone, these numbers are so I don't like using basically the battery. I don't like to waste the battery. It's Japanese battery inside. It's gonna last me maybe even 2 years. Who knows? Unless they did something else. Now, if they did something else, and that's why I'm not gonna use the batteries on any of these watches. I'm not gonna open them. I'm not gonna take the batteries out. I'm not gonna do any of that kind of stuff because I would not have any kind of proof. If they did, this is right behind our house. This is where the junk is. They put this behind our house. It also was the location where I would be tortured also by the village people, neighbors here, and so on. How to view the trash and so on and stuff like that. Yeah. So this one was very loud here. It's okay. The police will come soon for a visit, and we will be discussing also this kind of issues with the neighbors. It's okay. No neighbor will escape. I'm not in a hurry to put anybody on a camera, really. That's what I'm trying to say. Unless I have to. This here is a beautiful video, isn't it? I'm not going to go and fuck it up the video like this. Especially after I wasted so much time. What else can I tell you about this stuff here? About this watch here, nothing much. You're gonna see me in part number 2. The watch was completely covered with some nasty stuff all around. And it was this politician here, his name is Robert Golob. This is individual whom I have rated as mentally insane. Already back in 2000, he had already hair, crazy hair. I didn't like him. He was a thug from Milan Kuchan, and I frankly didn't like this guy. He deliberately now also wears a hair like this, and Slovenian nation elected one as a Slovenian prime minister. So he has apparently control over the ambulance vehicles. This is basically what he threatened me with, and he is posing with his magnificent haircut right there, making idiot even bigger out of himself than what otherwise would be seen as. So we go up here. I'm sure you can admire this nasty haircut. Why the fuck we have water and shampoo, I do not know. So there you go. This is the author of yeah, he is a special kind from Milan Kuchan. So he has some really outstanding, really. I would not be doing stuff like this to the public. I mean, you know, I know that Donald Trump is one of a kind, but at least Trump appears, he's got a clean hair all through. It looks ridiculous, but in a way, still he's taking care his hair. Why not? I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff, but that does look nasty to me. That shit looks nasty. And this is an individual, I told him, I said, you know, you should be inside the psychiatric hospital already long time ago. And he had his university and already in this political sphere with his elites, and he so much resented me. And I told him, in fact, because there was some violence in it, I told him, in fact, I consider you as insane. And once this procedure will get through, I will get you into the psychiatric hospital. And, well, he got the first to use the psychiatric hospital against me. Wow. Truly, I would say, excellent. Excellent. This, I'm gonna say, cretin, idiotin, if you like, created this stuff here and anticipated from me. I would go out there and say, like I did in part number 2, I got pissed off because of, well, you're gonna see glossy stuff that I mentioned to you earlier. Covered stuff with I am gonna stop recording here because simply this is gonna be the last thing I will be discussing. I hope, I pray it's audio recording still, that it's not fucking me up, the audio recorder. I don't want to lose. I don't want to be without the voice and stuff like that. It already happened, that kind of stuff. This watch got all kinds of issues they discussed during MK Ultra, and in a little bit I'm going to be with a watch. Stuff that I even state according to MK Ultra brainwash. For these politicians, it was not enough that you would repeat the words that you would brainwash with during MK Ultra. You're gonna see when you're gonna be watching this stuff, this is fucking nasty here all around. Just like the one you see here, let's say, that kind of stuff on my screen. You see, my screen is nasty. And I do that stuff deliberately so I clean the screen as rarely as possible because I'm afraid causing damage to the screen. I don't like doing that kind of stuff. And this shit here was interpreted to me during MK Ultra as something that it was done due to oxidation process to my watch. Because the people, when I presented this watch, like for instance the guy from whom this watch is, this is his watch, my Egyptian guy, he,
stopwatch there, you can see here.
my Egyptian guy, he, was this 4 months ago? Okay, cool, yeah. My Egyptian guy, I am not saying, hold on a moment, I'm not saying that my watch, the watch that you see here, is this watch. No, that's not what the fuck I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that the watch that he used earlier is exactly this watch. Don't get me wrong with it. You're not going to get anything wrong about it, and I'm going to articulate that. I'm going to explain to you about that issue. He got in possession this watch. Therefore, this watch, which is this practically the same model, the same type of watch, the same watch. Some people say the same watch. He got in possession this watch, sometimes in 2000 and 2009, 2010 is when he got this watch in his possession. This watch. He was not allowed to wear this watch. He would keep this watch inside of the doors. He would actually go out there meeting one friend of his. He's got a very good friend of one who also was involved in it. He would involve other people in it. But this is one guy, one friend of his, that he would go and meet, have me meet one. And I would go and meeting this guy. He would wear, during meetings, he would wear this kind of watch. Or at home only, he would wear this watch, but this kind of watch, you know? And for that kind of watch, it was this guy, the politicians that I demonstrated you, this dude here, who would insist me, he would, all of a sudden, he would appear in front of the house once they threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital in 2000 and beginning the 2013, with police insisting me in 2012 about the issue, why I shouldn't buy this watch. Police discouraged me from buying any of these watches, that these watches are shit, that these watches are so big, that I will look like a complete idiot wearing these watches. Yeah, this was all the program. This was all on the program. And something I have to tell you, these watches are exactly excellent watches. I already described when I was making the video, because of the because the architecture of the belt itself, and because of the round face that you see in the back, the housing gets smaller, and it perfectly feels on the watch, on your wrist, just like a normal watch. It does not feel like a big watch, you know. It doesn't even feel like a big watch. It's perfect. It doesn't give any kind of problems. You can even, I realized, wear one all year long. You don't have to worry about the sleeves. I was worried about that kind of issue. You don't have to worry about it. In fact, this is really excellent. Excellent. Started to insist me that few things. Number one thing is that this watch is total shit, because it oxidizes, and any kind of scratch, and apparently the glass from this watch broke down. So for me, these watches, they told me do not buy, because it's going to be, this here is going to be scratches, and it's going to be the paint that's going to fall off. And they were showing me, demonstrating me some watches that were with the paint scratched and so nasty, with broken glass, that they're no good. And they told me the other watches, however, you don't like, because the other watches have a glass inside. They have this protective around them. But those are the watches that you don't like, and so on. They are shit, don't buy, and this and that. They went completely insane. Slovenian police went completely mad with this stuff, showing me even the watches as big as this. When it comes to psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who would step out of the car in Miami and had a fucking watch like this on his hand and started to harass valet parking. Imagine the people in the United States of America had to park his fucking car. Imagine, this is for me, so it angers me so much that it's unbelievable. When I think about the trash that would lodge on Miami Beach in a hotel, having a good time over there, and people actually taking care of the garbage. It pisses me off. I can't actually explain how angry it makes me. Criminal trash. I'm not going to get into it. Highly recommendable, comfortable to wear. Stuff that you're about to see in part number 2. All nasty all around it. And the best about it, exactly according to Robert Golob, here it appeared like it's got a crack, which was done with a regular pencil, you know, like a graffiti pencil, like a red pencil, you know, pencil. It looked like this, basically. This is the stuff you're going to see. made me curse the whole fucking thing in respect to purchase of these watches. It made me so miserable. It made me miserable because I like the watches, and now the watches were all appeared all fucked up, you know. It made me really, really miserable. Here, I'm gonna do it. I have to be very, very careful with the stuff till I post this on the internet. I shouldn't play with this stuff. It looks so nasty. This oppa, there you go. Like a crack. And this is the crack they insisted me it's gonna be a crack. And this crack here, what we'll do is gonna be cracked. The only thing that's gonna happen is the paint, everything is gonna fall apart before you know it's gonna be so nasty and so on. And it was with a pen. It was charted with a pen. Yeah, well, I did go ahead and I cleaned the watch. I cleaned the watch, and there was no crack on it. And that's when I started to recall this politician who was involved in it, who was driving me absolutely insane. He was trying to drive me insane with this face of this watch on how they did this kind of stuff. For every watch that you're gonna purchase, they came up with the scenarios of what they're gonna do to me. For every fucking watch, including for this one here. For every one of them. The only watch, according to Psychiatric's cups, they wouldn't touch is this one here. All other watches that they would do something to it. We're gonna get to this stuff for everything. So after I clean this stuff thoroughly, for which they also claimed me will be like this because they will have one so many years in a storage, and it will already oxidize the face of the watch, and I will get his watch, which will be cracked. The watch appears clean, without any visible stuff that I would make me worry about, and for which they claim that within, I don't know, that within, I don't know, 6 months this watch would be unrecognizable, 3 months that it would be peeling off the color, having me jucked up. They would do this kind of stuff. Now when I say drugged up, this is the video a special video I will dedicate to the drugs, to the MK Ultra drugs, because I learned more about the type of drugs that were used. I am only going to give you idea what exactly it means to create a human being paranoid through MK Ultra. It's not about MK Ultra, but I will tell you like this. I'm going to give you an example. There were 2 instances like this. One instance was me being with American military in Afghanistan. And another instance was with my being in Israel, with the Israeli military. And on both instances, they video recorded me with people expressing their total dissatisfaction with me. They video recorded me walking on the streets of whatever the Israel had preparing itself they were using. They have a whole streets they would use to practice guerrilla warfare for the war that you see have taken place against the Palestine. And on opportunity, they video recorded me walking with the Israeli soldiers who had occupied already Palestine, and I demanded from the Israeli soldiers to kill every Palestinian. In the face of what they presented me were Palestinian people, I would go there and demand from Jews, from the Israeli soldiers, to just shoot everybody. I would just go there and say, just kill them, kill all this, kill, just kill them, get over with, kill them all. The same thing happened in Afghanistan when they use some kind of drugs to, first what they do is they give you the drugs. Second thing they do is they brainwash you. And the third thing is they deliver you with this kind of drugs. These are the drugs that you don't even understand anymore that it's you. These drugs, the drugs they used, are the drugs that you just take the most extremist view. These are drugs that they use to put in your head stuff that is completely insane. And with this kind of MK Ultra drugs, of course, not only you no longer are yourself, but you just you don't, you know, it's like a chessboard. You no longer see people as a human beings, and you no longer see this watch like, you know, from the like logical point of view, but they just, whatever they brainwash you with, basically is how you see it. These are the drugs that will make your head, you can feel them. Because, man, they fucking stone you. It's like you can feel that stuff. It's like, I'm not going to say it's like your brain is fine with it. It's not. They're just so heavy. It feels like you are in a super, super, super deep sleep. It feels like you are, like somebody's talking, like you're in a fucking deep, 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 deep sleep. And it's like, it feels like heavy. Your head does not feel good. So, on a few occasions, the Israelis told me, we already know you use this kind, they use this kind of drugs with you. We can do that. And they did that kind of stuff. And apparently they did this in front of international observers. Israel did. So this is a little bit different investigation. Like I said, the watches, before the watches would get into police warehouse, were pre-inspected by the Slovenian police. Once they would somewhat qualify to criteria of Slovenian police, it would be a British royals, especially Prince Charles, and then it would be also other British royals that were willing to play with this stuff, with my case, that will examine them prior to, and I was told they will rate whatever I have to say, whichever way I'm going to examine this stuff, accordingly to whichever way I'm going to do this stuff. So, I don't know what was Gabriella Windsor husband just happened, so she's all delighted and happy. I don't know how that would be possible with that a loss that she suffered. Her husband was one of them that would go on and play with exactly what I stated, inspected and help Prince Charles with this kind of stuff. One of them. And of course there were others, and of course I'm not going to go after everybody, but I'm just giving you an example because it's too much. I'm not going to go and fucking talk about this stuff for years. This video, we might say that already is on 2 hours and a half, and this is just part one. Slovenian police did not stop short and have used one to drive me insane with what he would sit right there. They would disconnect all the lights, and I would watch one with the light, checking the watch, insane, and repeating and repeating, repeating. Fuck, this watch is nasty. This watch is not new. I see some shit inside, and so on. And have me sit here. And with other police officers inside of the room, inside of the... what they mean by this is, what you're going to see is, there is something, a particle inside. Maybe it's even another particle somewhere. But this particle here that you see, hold on. There is a particle inside. I don't know how you can see. Wait, I'm going to try to get one No, against white it's not gonna help. Aha, there you go. Okay, that's true too. Let's do it like, let's say like this. And I will use like something to point you out. This here, like this. I am gonna. Now I was told it's not only one, but I also only see one. I only see this one here. This was involved in MK Ultra. They would have me watch like a petty trash inside, claiming me that is nasty and is not a new watch. I like it just the way it is. At least it also helps me out to know that it's my watch. Yeah, to steal me the watch, you do not even have to open it up. Not exactly, because this trash can fall out. Sure, and it possibly can also move. It's just statically over there. But this stuff is inside of the watch. This is not outside of the watch. You see it? Let me... So this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to use as a proof that this is his watch. All through, it's a possibility that there is also other. This is inside. This is not outside. And it's also not under the paper. I don't think it's under the paper. If it's under the paper, I don't think it is under the paper. It's definitely not under the paper. Definitely is on the inside, because you were able to see. You were not able, but I was able to see a red. The way it passed, it was almost on the pointer, almost on the red pointer. It's totally inside. Do these watches comes with irregularities like this? They probably do. Here and there they do, and it's not going to make any kind of difference. Fairly, the way this watch, and this was used as a watch, as an imperfect watch. It looks like this. It's more than satisfactory, I would say, for the watch. It will definitely satisfy you, regardless of your criteria. Oh, there you go, the red pointer right there. That was exactly the stuff that you see. That stuff is inside, that stuff is not on a surface or under the protective plastic here that is on the top of. Right where it says the date, you see where it says the date at the end of the date? That stuff is inside of the box. It's this kind of stuff that was further used to suggest me that this watch, and you're going to hear me saying shit, stupidities, that this kind of watch also has a problem, that the belt that you see, the police insisted me that it would be from another watch. They will take this part off. That they will take this part off, and threatened me, together with the nurse Janko and so on, that if I would be using anyways this thing here, not this thing, but this belt. First they insisted that the belt is not the original, that it's not from here, that I have to look at the watches and learn which belt from where it was taken and placed here. Then, obviously, because other watches do not fit this type of description, they all have this double protection here that you see. They're completely different. Okay, they inserted a multitude of different scenarios to fuck me, to drive me paranoid, to make me depict myself as paranoid. Have gone further to suggest me that it would be this kind of stuff they also played with, changing from one watch to another, that they would replace me, and so on and so forth. It did not stop even with what they suggested is, all you're going to have to do is push this out a little bit. And when I asked them, what is going to happen if I will continue to use belt as it is, like this, it really looks like this. It really looks like it doesn't fit. They insisted me in that case, the only thing that's going to happen is you will destroy the belt, and the belt no longer will be good. Well, I will continue to use this stuff just as it is. There are new watches awaiting me at the police station, so in meanwhile, I'm going to have a nice watch. I'm going to have myself a good time. And if I take another watch, seems like they all have this kind of problem. And maybe that's not even a problem. Maybe that's just a courtesy of Smael company, courtesy of quality basically that applies to this Chinese company Smael. Smael watches, Smael, you should understand, for those of you that were not excited about this kind of watches, simply are watches of quality. If you consider Seiko, Citizen, Casio quality, I think you should consider this too, because a matter of the fact is that it's a Japanese inspectors that are inside of the Chinese factory where they assemble these watches, where they assemble them together, and they make sure that nothing but the best comes out of it. So saying that these are not good watches and stuff like this is a stupid shit. It's a stupid thing to do. I was brainwashed tremendously on this stuff. I was willing to pay for this stuff 19 bucks for 3 of these watches, and got lucky enough to get them for less. There is what some people would say something like a downfall that applies to these watches, but it's really not, because I demonstrated you this watch, for instance, has even better way to make comfortable one on your hand, because it has these things here. You see these plastic things, and this thing little, it so fits on your wrist. My wrist is 18 centimeters. That it makes you just as comfortable to fit as anything else would be. The size of the nurse JANKO is such of his wrist that it would only fit him, and not even this would be. This was the biggest problem for him. That's why he claimed he would not wear the watch to the last pin. So this is what I said, the size of the nurse JANKO, I'm going to use as a proof that he was involved, actually as a physical proof that he was involved in this crime. It would only fit into this here, and even this would be a problem, according to his bullshit, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to tell you what the size of his wrist was, because he wanted to have a watch like this, but he couldn't have the watch to him, according to him, because he had too big of the wrist to wear the watch like this. Not necessarily are made for the big hands. 18 centimeters is not such a big and big wrist. And so, voila, I'm going to also tell you about that kind of stuff. Is there like anything else? No. What other shit you're going to hear me talking about in part number 2? You're going to hear me talking about stuff like that everything is scratched all over the place. That's because I'm going to repeat to you those stickers that I demonstrated you. Those are the stickers that they made them in such a way so that it would all look scratched up, you know, and somehow I don't even know why, but somehow shit. The first watch that I opened up, I think, you're going to see when I open the package, was the watch which was in the worst shape possible. That's basically this watch here. So I was pissed off because this is a 5 atmosphere, 5 bar watch, and was going to use one for swimming and such, and realized it's not going to be suitable because I don't know how many times also this was open, because I don't know whether this was properly closed or not, because of too many issues is why, basically. Check this out. This watch is not even fucking closed. Look at that. And I already had an example exactly like this. Look, 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 look. Look at the screwdriver. This screwdriver, I don't think it's all the way inside. Aha, like this. From the side, like this. And you know, that's why I am not going to be using this kind of stuff. I am not going to be using this kind of stuff yet. I am not going to be using this kind of stuff yet till I actually finish this case, and once I finish this case, I'm not sure, or is it? Once I finish the case, that's when I'm going to be playing with other stuff. I'm going to buy the first thing, seals, gaskets. I like also new when it comes to the seals, gaskets and stuff like that. I like it new, and frankly, with idiots like this doing the stuff like that, who can guarantee me that the stuff is new? Nobody really. Is there like anything else I would say in respect to this watch? I would say yes, I would say thank you very much to Egyptian guy, British Egyptian guy. I love it. This friend I am talking about, oh, look how beautifully you can see the scratch right there. Scratch we were talking about earlier. This friend, I think it's a black guy. I'm not sure. I think it's a black guy that he's his good friend. I think this longtime friend is a black guy. He's got a family. So is this scratched nicely? I'm gonna say thank you very much. Definitely police cannot say that these are new watches. Absolutely cannot say that these are new watches, because they're not. Proven they're not new watches. Here, this watch here, this was a top watch, and this was also one of the preferred watches. Slovenian police fucked me up the thing here that you see, according to MK Ultra. It's this protective plastic film. In other words, it's a film. They were playing with it and have adjusted one so that it would not be on a center like it's done in a factory, because in a factory they do it in such a way so that you can always use this as a protection so you don't scratch the face from the watch. They put this protective film on it. So the Slovenian police went ahead, and during MK Ultra, unfortunately, I mean, when I was doing the review of this stuff, I went ahead and I pushed the stuff, inside, and in fact, Slovenian police insisted me, you must not push one on the inside but outside, but you most likely will push one on the inside. Yes, I did, because the Slovenian police pushed one out. So that is the correct answer. I just didn't know that it's supposed to be pushed out. Because this glass, of course, I think it's also curved. So this would be located at number 10, right here. Did you see at number 10? So this is actually vandalization. Ladies and gentlemen, they are for $650 right now, these watches. But the thing about it is, they go for $30 and more. 30, 40, even 50 bucks is cheap, but that doesn't mean it's shit. It's, for me personally, it's a top of the line. For the cost, for the money that I pay, for the value, price to value, it's like top of the line. So they here, I am gonna try to do that for you. What else? What else is wrong with it? You're gonna see on me bitching about it. You're gonna hear me bitching about it at the part number 2, for which I already told you, do not pay attention to these stickers here. This is the stuff do not pay attention to. Whatever I say it's about scratched and so on and so forth, do not pay attention to. This is what they told me. Slovenian police insisted me this is going to be the watch that is going to be in the worst condition because you like one. The watch is okay. Once I removed the sticker, it appeared that the watch was not scratched. The watch was okay, with exception to this plastic here, like I said. That will be a problem, and eventually I'm going to have to make another plastic cover protection. Don't really know how I would, here, this is going to do it. Just pay attention to number 10. This was a big bubble right there, a big problem it was, and it will be for as long as it will be, and then when it's not going to be, I'm just going to put something else. At number 10, you're going to see this plastic film. I was inside of this company, inside of this factory in China also, not only in Japan, where they do this mechanisms. Yeah, you can see it's not even. It's not even. You see it? At number 10, it's slightly, you can see. This is going to be a problem actually. It's going to have to be replaced. The film, the protective film, is going to have to be replaced. So for the rest of the stuff, watch part number 2, and remember, anything I stated here for the rear, for the back, with respect to scratches, simply please disregard. This watch, in my opinion, is more new than not. I would say that this watch, in my opinion, is more new than not. Whether this is exactly the new watch, that would be new, I do not know how new this watch is due to issues which I have stated you earlier. Open watch, play with the watch, open watch, and so on and so forth. None of these watches is new. Battery, replacing battery, all that stuff, none of the watches is new. This is supposed to be the watch in the best shape of them all. This is so what Slovenian police claimed me would be because I liked one as the only watch that I like one. They would allow me to have one watch intact and new. I watch part number 2. I don't have anything else I would say in respect to any of these issues. I will not take this apart. I will use, however, also this issue to make my case. This was also the issue that was involving MK Ultra, and this is also all the screws. That's why I also know that this watch is not a new watch. All the screws from this watches, as you see, are like a cross. They were showing me God knows how many watches that they demonstrated me are like a cross, except that this one here, because you like, they told me, it's going to be X. do not use this watch. So I know that this watch that I demonstrated you is absolutely not a new watch. Any kind of watch or item for that matter, if it was involved in MK Ultra, is absolutely not a new item. Next, let's see what else here. If there's anything notable here that I would note. Nothing so much really with the bare eye that I would pay I don't know what attention to really. I have to be careful with this stuff so that I don't drop something. Robert Golob claimed that he would do that kind of stuff to help me out, you know, to help me out. The thing is, he did help me out in 2012 when he threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital. He shortened my life for about maybe 30 years. And so I know that he definitely helped me out, and he made the toilet the shit out of my life. So I'm going to say thank you, Mr. Robert Golob. Till we meet at the court. That's where I'm going to really thank you. I repeat to you, they demanded from me to open the swatches, take them apart, and so on and so forth. I would not do absolutely, not bother to change the battery, absolutely anything. I would absolutely not do any of it. They show you the date, they show you the date. They are very good functionality-wise, time-wise keeping. According to psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, he would give me 2 watches that are new, that are really new. That's basically this one and this one. But the thing is that they inserted so many different scenarios that whatever you would state, whatever the fuck I state, for everything I say, there are still 10 different other scenarios involved in it. I am outlining the most important MK Ultra brainwash for you to understand the nature of this type of crime. For the rest of the stuff, you're gonna see in part number 2. Please, I will be talking to you about issues that are non-relevant, that apply to this stuff in the back cover. Do not take that from me. I take that back. Whatever I stated, I do not agree with any of that stuff. Let me see this here. I did not even check this kind of stuff. This one, contrary, is like this, and is going very, very smoothly, which is kind of suspicious to me. So the only thing I want to say is none of these watches are new. They're going to be welcome in my possession till I get also, now that's a proper way to say, my watches. The thing is that anything I do, I take, I'm not going to say pride in it, but I will not go and allow somebody to fuck with my things, because it's a time I spend, it's a time I waste, and will not allow absolutely anybody to fuck with any of this stuff. Watch the part number 2 about all this stuff. The belt here is, this is the only belt that is so smooth. So this is, maybe, I don't know what to tell you. Let's test this belt also. It's also not smooth. It's also like this. This is also quite smooth. This belt is also smooth. Quite smooth, but not as smooth. So yes, it could be that these two watches, as a matter of fact, the watch that I'm using, they might have, this is also smooth, this. Okay, so this is exactly the same issue. And so it could really be that police did something with this stuff here. It could really be that they did something with this stuff here. And if it's not, it's because it would be something they would use to remind me during MK Ultra about, was actually to remind me about what went on during MK Ultra. So you're going to also hear me in part 2 talking about these white things here. The white things, it's normal. It's a normal thing. It's a paint that would, in what I said that was demonstrated, was also visible on watches from other police officers, investigators. They would have a white paint, you know, around it. You see this stuff here, also here in the belt and so on. This is also the stuff I was involved in MK Ultra. And in the green watch, there was this kind of stuff here that was involved in MK Ultra. So this is also why I know that this is not a new watch. Because of this stuff here, because of this green stuff here. You see it right there? This is the same watch that was involved in MK Ultra. None of the watches are new watches. I believe they used them, and if they did not use them, then they had to sit inside of the warehouse for a very, very long time. Minimum for each watch, they had sit inside of the warehouse with 10 years at least. 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of the stuff, I will now refer you to the part number 2, when you're going to hear me lambasting everything. Please do not pay attention to the stuff that you're going to see me saying, since I have not even bothered to remove the stickers. This has got visible stuff also here in the back. Yeah, this is not the way it's supposed to be. There is some, you see that stuff, those marks? That's scratching stuff. That watch is definitely not new. So I still think it was a rubber alcohol that was used, that the police investigator was scratching the stuff with the rubber alcohol to make it look as new as possible. I should say as glossy as possible, as dusty as, not as dusty, but as foggy. You know, fog, like foggy that you don't see clearly. That's what you would do with that stuff, with that alcohol. I just remember that animal using that kind of stuff and driving me insane with this kind of issues. He also would drive other people in Slovenia insane. There was another individual somewhere they had. These people killed quite a few people. This will do the investigation for me. It could be much, much worse. I would have to remove these pins here and check this issue here. I will not. I also, as soon as anything will happen with the watch, I will log a date and time, and whatever happened to the incident will place, if I have to, one on the side, simply for the time that would come when it would be additional investigation that would take place. And yes, I will not go swimming with any of these watches because you know, when you go swimming, always make sure it's water resistant, everything. First thing you do with the watch when you get the watch, order yourself gaskets, order yourself seals, nice set of screwdrivers, open it up, make sure it's properly sealed. If not, replace the sealed gasket, close the enclosure, close the cover back, test the watch in the water, then go swimming with it. Okay? So that's all I gotta say to you, and wherever the hell you are, because Slovenia did this stuff, it's like a mental disease. They spread throughout the world so that people are doing, police is doing now this to the people in Brazil, in the United States of America, everywhere. Make sure you have the camera in your hands when you open the items. It's not AliExpress that's doing stuff like this. It's the mainstream media that does it. This negative image about the Asian carp, this negative image about the invasive Asian species, anywhere from Asian carp to Asian, I don't know. It's bullshit. Stop with that stuff. That's all I say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, for me, it's going to be the end of the part. Part number 1. Again, we're going to take a date and time. I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to have you see date and time. The best watch of them all, and it's all thanks to Egyptian guy. Egyptian guy told me that he barely made it. He barely made it. He had a problem qualifying this watch with the Slovenian police, and yet he did. He did it. Do you see what I see right there? You see? Do you see that? You see that stuff? That shit is very realistically done. It was done in such a realistic way, close to MK Ultra brainwash, that I was certain it was correct surface from the watch, and it was not. I clean it up, and I would say, well, it looks as good as new. You see it? You're gonna see that in the part number 2. And that will be basically reviewing of this watches. This is the stuff that made me so upset about it. because I really started to see things. They brainwashed me with the Rin MK Ultra just the way they wanted me say stuff the way they wanted me to say. Date and time when this stuff was video recorded, and yes, this is the 4th time I'm practically doing this stuff. What I'm gonna do is, this is the end of the part 1. Part number 2, that's what I'm really negative about it. The worst come out of me. I get pissed off and everything. You're gonna hear me bitching and all kinds of stuff. That's basically opening of the package itself. And in the part number 3, you're just gonna hear me repeating, watch part number 1. Do not take completely seriously part number 2. Watch part number 1 to understand what went on in part number 2. Thanks for watching this video. I should say part number 1. Coming next is part number 2.